creative way you've ever followed your parents' rules just to annoy them? Growing up, my parents had one dinner rule they treated like it was sacred law. No elbows on the table. Not try your best. Not sit up straight. No, this was serious. If I slipped up, my dad would tap the back of my arm with his fork. Not hard, but just enough to let me know I'd messed up. And if it happened 3 times in one meal, dish duty for a week, no arguing, no appeal. Sentence delivered. By the time I was 13, I was done. Not even with the rule itself. I was just tired of how dramatic they were about it. So I decided if they wanted perfect table manners, I'd give them perfect table manners. Just not in the way they were expecting. It started small. One night at dinner, instead of asking for the salt like a normal person, I sat up perfectly straight, folded my hands, and said, "Mother, would you be so kind as to pass the salt? I find this meal, while thoughtfully prepared, lacks sufficient seasoning for my developing palate." My mom just blinked at me. My dad frowned. And right then I knew I had something. The next night I escalated. I came to dinner wearing the dress I usually only wore to church. Hair brushed, posture perfect. Before sitting down, I pulled out my mom's chair and said, "Your seat awaits, madam." My little brother laughed. I turned to him slowly and said, dead serious, "A gentleman does not laugh at the table." My parents exchanged a look. They thought it was a phase. It was not a phase. From that point on, every dinner became a full performance. I started bringing a cloth napkin to the table and unfolding it with dramatic precision before placing it across my lap like I was attending a royal banquet. After every few bites, I'd gently dab the corners of my mouth, even when there was nothing there. One must maintain appearances, I'd say calmly, to absolutely no one. Then I started studying old-fashioned etiquette online. Not normal etiquette either. Deep, unnecessary, borderline ridiculous etiquette. Soup? I'd sip it from the side of the spoon. The proper method, I'd explain. As practiced in formal European dining. Nobody had asked. Didn't matter. I kept going. Then came the bell. One night, I placed a tiny service bell beside my plate. The first time I rang it, my dad looked at me like I'd completely lost my mind. "What is that?" he asked. "A service bell," I said, "for assistance. We are not running a restaurant." I nodded thoughtfully. "Then perhaps we should revisit our standards for formal dining." My mom had to look down at her plate so I wouldn't see her smiling. My dad was not smiling. Still, I wasn't done. Next, I made place cards. Actual place cards. But instead of names, everyone got titles. My dad said, "Lord Father of the Household, Keeper of the Sacred Wi-Fi Password." My mom said, "Her Royal Highness, Provider of Meals and Manager of All Things." My brothers just said, "The Spare." That one caused problems immediately. But the real breaking point came during dinner with my grandparents. I showed up carrying a small notebook and placed it beside my plate. My grandmother noticed first. "What are you writing, sweetheart?" I looked up and said very calmly, "I'm documenting etiquette violations for future reference." And then I actually started announcing them. Grandpa used the wrong spoon for his soup. Noted 6:18 p.m. Mother refilled her own water without offering others. Slightly improper. My mom gave up right there. Then I looked directly at my dad. Father has placed his elbow on the table for approximately 3 seconds. He dropped his arm immediately. Too late. Violation recorded. My grandmother was trying so hard not to laugh she had tears in her eyes. My dad just sat there in total defeat. That night, after dinner, my parents called a family meeting. And my dad very seriously added a brand new rule. No elbows on the table, and absolutely no. Whatever this is. I just nodded politely. Of course. And just like that, I won. To this day, whenever my dad starts reminding someone about elbows,